Hi guys, welcome back to another video. In this one we're going to go over the 5 best ETFs for the future on Trading 212. So stick with me in this one and let's see what we can get into. So just before we get into the 5 best ETFs for the future, make sure you like this video if you find any value from it, and obviously subscribe to the channel if you like this type of content and want to see more coming up in the future. So what is an ETF? An ETF is an exchange traded fund. It's a collection of stocks, a collection of shares, and it's a way of diversifying your portfolio without actually having to do it yourself. So the idea is you go into an ETF and then you're already like straight away diverse. You've got 40, 50 companies already straight away there. A nice bus went past, that's why everything changed colour there temporarily. It is kind of almost rush hour, so yeah, it is what it is. Anyway, ETFs, yes. So it's a great way if you're a busy person, if you've got kids, just kind of or if you're just not interested in investing at all, but you still like the idea of having your money grow into a pot. And obviously it's all better than bank interest and that kind of thing. ETFs could be the one for you. And obviously the purpose of this video is the ETFs for the future, the ones that I think will not dominate, but they will kind of increase faster, shall we say, for the future. There's a couple of safe ones in there, and there's a couple of ones that are kind of industry based. So yes, without further ado, let's jump into the 5 ETFs. So ETF number 1 that we're talking about is the Vanguard S&P 500 ETF. Now, if you don't know what this is, it is basically the top 500 grossing companies in the US, and they have shown in the past that over the last kind of, 100 years, I guess, maybe slightly more, that it's averaging around 7 to 10% per year, obviously return. So that over the course of 10-15 years is got to be, quite a good lump sum with the compound interest. Now, if you're not too sure what compound interest is, I do have a video for you in the top right hand corner which explains kind of what compound interest is and how beneficial it can be for your future. So in this S&P 500 you've got companies like Amazon, Apple, Microsoft, all the big boys, and it's a weighted diversification. So you've got big companies and you've kind of got smaller companies, but then they're trying to take the average from that, and that's why you see it steadily increase over time, because it takes the best from them. So the reason I put it in my list for the future is because it has that kind of reputation, and it has the results that you can already see in the past of it growing over the course of the last 100 odd years. So yeah, that is number 1. So number 2 is eCar. Now this is, you might guess it already, it's electric vehicles, and those of you that have watched this channel all know me in general. I'm kind of big on my electric cars. I do think they're going to be part of the future. I mean, why wouldn't they be? We are looking to a more sustainable future in that respect. And this is a great way to get into electric vehicles if you're not too sure which one to pick, or kind of which one is good, which one is kind of really going to punch up. This ETF will give you an all-rounder, so it's got things like Tesla and things like that in there, and obviously the battery makers and all that kind of thing as well, and it gives you that kind of diversification with the electric vehicle industry. A little side note actually, while I'm filming this, is there's no reason why you can't have more than one ETF. You don't have to literally go into one ETF because of that industry impact. So you've got the S&P 500, could be like your main one, for example. Then you've got your kind of, you can do genomics, you can do electric vehicles, and you can have diversified that way as well. So you can kind of be extra safe in that respect as well. So I'm looking at the chart here for the eCar one, and that is over the last year or so. You can see that it has had quite a gain, 110%, and that is with obviously things like Tesla and all that booming up, and obviously the battery industry and just the general kind of hype around electric cars in general. I mean, you can see in the last kind of 3 months or so at the top there, it has kind of tailed off, but I think that's natural. It's a healthy correction. And it's not really even a correction, it's just a flat line, which is also just safe, and that's kind of what you get with an ETF. You get that kind of safety of it not dropping so massively, if you see what I mean. So it just gives you that kind of extra security when you're investing your money. So moving on to number 3, we're going to go to VanEck, Vectors, Video Gaming and Esports. Now, those of you who don't know anything about games, they are obviously, the kids love them, even the adults love them, everyone loves them, and it's just getting bigger and bigger. People playing esports tournaments, people watching them on YouTube, and gaming itself is just getting bigger and bigger, and you can put your money into that as well. This one's a little bit more volatile, shall we say, as you can see here from the graph. We have over the last year or so, we have a steady kind of increase over the first kind of like 10 months of that, shall we say, and then it dropped off just after that as well, just with the correction that's kind of happened, slash crash, I suppose, whatever you want to call it. And I do believe going forward into the future, this will steadily increase as well. And it's got companies like Nvidia who make the gaming chips, the semiconductors, and then you've got stuff like Activision in there as well, the people who actually make the games, the producers, that kind of thing. So there's a list of them that you can see. I'll try and find it and I'll stick it on the screen for you. And you can see what's kind of in that ETF. But obviously do your own research when you're looking into these ETFs, and I think that's important to do it yourself so you can kind of understand what you're covering when you're going into these ETFs. So number 4 on my list is the EQQ Invesco Nasdaq 100, and this is basically, it replicates the top 100 of the Nasdaq, and I'll actually just read out the description here. It's much easier if I just do that. Hey? The Invesco EQQ fund aims to replicate the Nasdaq 100 index. The index includes 100 of the largest domestic and international non-financial companies listed on Nasdaq stock market based on market capitalization. The portfolio is rebalanced quarterly and reconstituted annually, so you've got that kind of safety of it's kind of always being rebalanced every quarter, and it's kind of gradually got to go up here. So if we have a look at the chart for this one, you can see over the last year it has done very well as well, 43%. So let's put that into perspective. On the average of the S&P 500, which is the overall one, is 7 to 10% per year, and this one has gone up 43% in the last year. Now obviously that it has been impacted from the COVID recovery and things like that, so it's not going to happen every year, but we know it's kind of going on that journey of kind of steadily increasing. And you can see here at the top the recent correction. Again, that's happened with everything, but you can see it's kind of already above what it was before that happened, if that makes sense. So the EQQQ, or EQQQ if you want to call it, is another one of those which is like a market whole ETF rather than industry based. So it could be another one that you consider for your investments. So the last ETF I'm showing you today is the iShares Global Clean Energy one. Now this is, if you didn't guess already, it's kind of based around clean energy, sustainability, all that kind of thing. So we'll go through a couple of the ones that are in the top 10 holdings. So you've got things like Plug Power, Enphase, First Solar, so you can kind of see the energy sectors there, utilities, things like that. So this could be a good option if you're a heavy believer in the world changing. In terms of sustainability, that was difficult to say for me. So yes, it's one to consider definitely if you're into that kind of thing. Just looking at the graph for that one, in the last year it has fallen quite a bit. But if you see in the overall, let's have a look at the overall, right? So at the top right hand corner there, it says 104.76% in the last year gain. So it's doubled in a year, even with that big drop that we just had in the last 3-4 months. And I'm okay with that. So if I have that going up at least kind of 20% a year, then that's pretty good fit in my opinion. Again, ETFs are kind of aimed towards people who not too interested in the stock market, and that kind of thing, who are busy people, love their jobs and that kind of thing, which is fine. So you can see the iShares Global Clean Energy could be a great option for you. So with those 5 ETFs, I have kind of covered a few futuristic kind of views on the world. So we've covered sustainability, electric vehicles, the market as a whole, because we know that grows over the years. It has shown that over the last 100+ years. And then we've got things like technology and all that kind of included in there as well, so that you can be safe with your money, investing in the future, at least in some capacity. There is some other ETFs that you could consider, or at least industries, which is semiconductors, genomics, anything healthcare related, the medical cannabis type thing. There's lots of different ETFs around. Not all of them you can access on Trading 212. All of the ones that I've mentioned today, which I'll list up somewhere here as well, they all can be accessed on Trading 212, of which you can get yourself a free share from signing up to them. Obviously you can't get into them at the moment, but at least if you click the link and sign up, you'll get yourself a free share and you can use that. I imagine you can probably get all of these on Free Trade as well. Free Trade is a much easier app to use, at least from a beginner's perspective. So yeah, consider that one as well. If you found this video at all useful, like maybe you have discovered a new ETF or a new industry that you didn't perhaps know in the first place, I would love a comment down below, and then maybe you could share something with other people as well. As always, please like this video if you did find any value in it, and obviously subscribe to the channel for more videos like this on investing and productivity. Thank you very much guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. In the world changing in terms of sustainability, that was difficult to say for me. As always, please like